Hey y'all, I'm Arwen, the professional joy seeker, professional tarot consultant, witch, and author. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why spells fail. Now I'm doing this as a live because I wanted to give folks an opportunity to show up and chat with me. Middle of the afternoon may not happen because I didn't tell anybody about this either. I'm actually looking so I can get the everything pulled up. Well, it's not pulling up for me. How rude. There we go. So here's the thing. I am super ready. I am got all my accoutrements for a good spell working. I got sage. I got a candle. I got stones. I got a cauldron. I'm ready. Or am I? Let's talk a little bit about why spells fail, shall we? Now I'm pulling up some notes because I actually took some time to write about this. You can have everything you need. You can have all the bits and baubles. You can have every correct herb, whatever, and your spell still doesn't work. Why is that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Let me get this out of my way, and let's talk about why spells fail. I went out on the internet and read some, and a lot of it kind of is blamey. And I may come across blamey, right? I may come across as though it's your fault. And I don't want to. So I'm going to try to monitor my language around that. I am kind of watching the chat a little bit. So if you have questions, please ask. I see chaotic this and that is in there. Hey, baby. So he's one of my monitors. And you know, if you have a question, just type it out in all capital letters. So here's a couple things I read. Doing it wrong, undoing your own magic, you're not supposed to have it, someone's working against you. I mean, like paranoia city, guys. But some of that's real, right? Sometimes we get in our own way when we work spells. How many of you out there have ever cast a spell for love, for money, for a job? I have all of those. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Now, I've been Wiccan since 1985 is when when did I initiate? 85 is when I started reading tarot pressures. It would have been before that, about maybe 81, 82, somewhere in that area. So I've been doing it for a while, right? So you would think, gee, Arwen, you've been doing it long enough, all your spells should work. No. And here's why. We're human. We're affected by what we hear and what we read. We're affected by what other people say to us. But nobody affects me. I'm only control what's in my hula hoop. I'm good, Arwen. Well, y'all, you know what? What other people say affects me. You know, I get thrown off my walk a lot. And I have to pick myself up and put myself back up. That's part of the professional joy seeker. If you're a professional, you keep doing it. But it does affect your magic. Now, I've also seen, I'm kind of rambling, so I apologize. Let's talk about subconscious counter desire first. Dear goddess and goddess, please bring me a lover who doesn't think I'm an idiot. Did you hear what I did there? Did you hear? I put into the spell my own doubt, my own lack of self-worth, my own I'm not worthy thinking. And when you do that, it is you're undermining yourself. You're putting out there a but statement, basically. You know, I want love, but I don't think I deserve it. So when you're working your magic, you have to be very conscious of your words. Words have power is not just a phrase when you're practicing the craft Okay, it's just not a phrase. It's reality. So, and I don't do love spells anymore. I'm married now, so my husband would find it a little creepy if I was doing love spells. But when I did them, I learned a lot of lessons about how to word them. I did one where I listed all the qualities and I said, I want somebody who is good for me right now. Whoops. The whole good for me right now meant that as we both changed, we grew apart. And it was kind of an ugly breakup. I don't like ugly breakups. You know, it's hard not to have them, but I don't like them. So, hello, everyone. And you've heard me talk about affirmations, right? You don't say, today I'm not going to cry. Because your brain rules out not and just hears, today I'm going to cry. So you feel like you're like, well, I'm trying. I said I wasn't going to cry. And you've kind of told yourself to cry, okay? So when you're doing spells, consider the same thing. Some people think you can only do cantrips for spells. Cantrips are short rhyming verse. They're like generally 4 lines. Roses are red, violets are blue. My feet are stinky. Housed by you. You know, it's the rhyming because your brain remembers that better. And so when you're doing a spell work, generally spells need to have focus and intention. You know, there's something called the witch's pyramid. And a lot of people, you've heard about it. Oh, you know, to know, to dare, to will, to keep silent. We'll come back to that. But when you're crafting your spell, think about how you say it. And I read something that actually made sense to me today. It says, when we tack on "and it harm none" at the end, we may be self-sabotaging. Guys, in the real world, if you want a job and you do a job spell and say "and it harm none," you've just given all the other candidates a leg up. Because your getting the job would in fact harm them to some extent. Think about the way you phrase things. You know, it just, you have to be very conscious. You don't just run out and go, whoop, got my cauldron, got my sage, got my incense, I'm good to go, let's cast a spell. You must sit down and think about it. You must craft it. Sloppy spells fail. And a sloppy spell is, well, you can just figure that one out, right? Also, don't treat deity as a concierge service, right? I've heard people say, Goddess, help me find a pencil. Jesus, help me find a pencil. Really, people? You don't think they have better things to do? And if they do find you a pencil, what are you doing in return? Are you thanking them? Are you showing them gratitude? Now, I'm here to tell you that in my workings with my deities, not saying thank you will get you slapped down. It'll get you ignored. Nobody wants an ungrateful kid. So put that out there also, you know. And there is a tradition of what I might call bartering spells. And that's where you barter back and forth with deity. You know, okay, if you will help me make it to Santa Fe this weekend without any mechanical troubles, I will light a candle for you. Okay, that's neither here nor there is bad or good. It just is. Perhaps if we were more in the habit of waking up in the morning, and I know somebody who wakes up in the morning, they take a cup of water, they bless it, and they say, thank you for the ability to have fresh water and a roof over my head and food to eat. And they toss the water out as an offering. It's simple, and it works for them. Find what works for you and incorporate gratitude into your daily practice. I think you'll also find your spells work better. Let's get back to the counter desire. Counter desire shows up in a lot of ways. Job spell. I've done job spells that were bang on, buddy. I had St. John the Conquerors, I had Tonka beans, I had everything I needed. Well, if I had not sent out resumes, if I had not made calls, if I had not knocked on doors, does anybody here really believe that my spell, just my spell alone, would cause the CEO somewhere to go, hot damn, I got to find that Arwen Lynch and hire her right now? It's not how it works. Magic is a boost. It's a push. It's an extra. It's not an alone, right? It's like you twist your ankle and you put an ace bandage on it and you leave it, you go on thinking it's going to heal up. You got to ice it, what is it, rice. You got to take pain relief. You have to do other things. Even a Reiki practitioner, an acupuncturist, a masseuse is going to tell you, okay, after we're done here, I want you to do these things. There's follow-up to the work that they do. There's follow-up to your spells. Do the work required. Dear universe, bring me a car. Well, you need to go out and figure out what kind of car you want, because you can get a jalopy, with 3 wheels and half a motor. Hey, got your car. You weren't specific. So, and there's a balance in specificity. Oh, hey, Molly. Molly, Wolf Raven, Two Spirit, Sarah. Woohoo! Sarah, I don't see what you're saying. Sorry. Oh, Nathan said, putting and it harm none in a questionable spell. Baby, if your spell is questionable, why are you doing it? That's going to be my question to you is, if you're not dead certain that you need this thing you're putting your spell work out for, why is it questionable? So I think that goes back to your groundwork, and your groundwork is super important, guys, super, super important, because it's how you cast the work. Another thing, I'm digressing, another thing is ingredients you use. I've heard people say, oh, I don't really care what herbs they say I should use. I don't care what color candle I should use. I'll just use whatever I have handy. Sloppy. That's sloppy. And that's me being extremely judgmental, and I own that. However, cinnamon and pepper are not the same thing. They don't have the same metaphysical qualities. They have some that kind of cross over, but they're different. You can't use pepper where you would use salt. It's just like a recipe. If your recipe calls for lemon juice and you hit it with honey, well, honey, you've just made a different recipe. So it does matter. It absolutely matters. Colors, I'm a little more fluid on, because I feel like I can imbue a candle with the color I want it to be. But realistically, the color of the candle matters because of the way our brains work. You have read love spell, pink candle, a white candle, and red candle. Take a white quartz and a garnet. Get cinnamon. And your brain has already said, okay, good, that's what we need. And then when you do it with other things, your brain's going, hold up, because we just read this and now you're doing this. Have you ever gone to somebody who taught you something and then did the opposite or way off what they did, and said, oh, do as I say, not as I do. Same thing, guys. So here's what you need. Here's what I think you need. And remember, this is my opinion, right? It is my opinion, and there's nothing else about it but opinion. I can tell you there's, based on experience. So, but in the long run, sometimes you just got to stick your hand in the fire to figure out it burns. So we talked about counter desire, and that's, I want love, I don't deserve love, but I want love, I don't deserve love. Oh, and I want some money too. Oh, I don't deserve to be rich. Because rich people are the Kardashians, the Trumps. They are, the Obamas. I'll put the Obamas in there too, just to make it bilateral. Y'all can tell I don't believe that, right? But when you have certain held beliefs about a group of people and you want money, and you're saying in the spell, I want to have money enough to live and live well. What is your version of living well? What does that look like, guys? Because that's huge. If your idea of living well is enough money to pay off the monthly rent-a-center bill, that's different than living well means I can put $500 to $1,000 a month in the bank in savings, right? So figure out what well means to you, and you may have to have some work with yourself. You may have to have a come to Jesus with your inner self about what the hell it is that you think. Money issues and money blocks are one of the biggest things I hear about in my tarot clients. They're like, Arwen, why can I not get past this? I know what I want. I know how to get there, but I can't make that break. Look at your roots. And I do mean your roots. Go back to your family. How is money treated in your family? Did you have chores and then you got get an allowance? How are you taught about money? You may need to reteach yourself in terms of spell work. So when somebody says your spell doesn't work because you did it wrong, they're blaming you. They may be right, because you may have done everything surface right, but you didn't check in with the underneath side. You didn't. I'm just a blog post today for the Tarot Blog Hop about submerged self and emerged self, rather than shadow self and this self. I think that submerged self and emerged self can work together. So what is it that you need? And identify needs and wants. Needs are not bad things, guys. Y'all, saying you need a new car when you've got a perfectly good car in the driveway, don't deny yourself that want of that new car. It's okay to want shit. It is okay. It is okay to want to have a popular YouTube channel. It is okay to want to have a job that pays you, more money than you think you're worth. But you are worth it. And once you accept you're worth it, your magic's going to work on a different level. Now, if you've got questions, holler at me. Let's see. Nathan says, do you think if people are substituting, they could be looking for or needing another outcome? Do you mean subconsciously, Nathan? No, I don't. I don't think our subconscious has enough time to scrabble around with that sort of thing. I just think we need to approach spells as recipes. Once you get down the road and you've got a pretty good handle on stuff, heck yeah, try some substitutions, see what works. But don't use cedar wood when you've been told to use pine and expect the same results. Learn your herbs. I'll put some books in the drop down. There's Wyland's Scott Cunningham is a good one. Paul Barrow, the Master Herbalist. There's a bunch of books that you can get on and look, and they have correspondences. They have substitutions, just like any good cookbook does, right? You don't have eggs? Try oil. You don't have oil? Get some applesauce. But you have to know the ins and outs and the amounts. Money was always earned. You got what you worked for. So Solaria, when you do a money spell, I'm assuming you might do a money spell. Do you have that in the back of your mind? I'm doing a money spell, but shit, I need to work for this. It's not just going to fall in my lap. Kind of, abandon the must work for it. Now, yeah, you need to work, right? And maybe your money spell, rather than I need $500, should be I've got a book for sale right now, so I'm going to pick on myself. I need my book to sell this many units this month. And make your money spell about that specifically, and then do work around it, right? I'm going to promote the book. I'm going to tell you about the book. I'm going to show you the book casually as though I'm not doing marketing in the middle of a live stream. But look at what you want, and then how does your brain think you can get it? To the job spell. Maybe your job spell isn't give me a good job. Maybe your job spell is getting your resumes, get 10 of them perfect, have 10 jobs you're going to submit to, and do a spell that blesses those resumes to get into the right hands and in front of the right people. Right? Craft your spells. It's a fine line between being specific and too specific. Two Spirit talked about love and do love spells mess with other people's free will? Absolutely. Absolutely. When I do love spells, I don't say, oh, universe, I want Two Spirit to fall in love with me and move from England and be my love. He's cracking up right now because he and I don't mesh on what we want. I'm pretty sure. But instead I would say, I want somebody who makes me laugh. I want somebody who's intellectual. I want somebody who loves kittens. I want somebody who kicks racists in the nuts. I want, things that are real specific. But I'm not going to get specific to the point that I want somebody who's over 5'6" and under 6'1". Give the universe a little wiggle room. If you're a crafts person and you've had somebody come to you and they say, I really like that picture you did, but I want a version of it where the dog is an elephant, the elephant is red, not gray, it's little, not big. Here's some pencils, draw it yourself. And speaking of drawing, if you have not looked at Molly Roberts and her Art Witch stuff, go forth and look. It's amazing. Now, what album I talked about? Let me see in my little notes. Oh, I've heard it said that the witch who lies will have all their spells fail. You shouldn't trust the witch who speaks of other witches. Yeah, there's a lot. It's a judgy kind of thing going on there. Now, witches should talk about other witches negatively. I personally have an issue with that. So, to lie, I'm going to tell y'all right up front, I lie. I have lied in my life. And if all those lies I told as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult, mean my spells don't work, well, fuck me running. That's going to suck. But I'm pretty sure it's not right. I think what they mean is that a witch who betrays their own honor is not somebody the universe trusts, right? So I'm still looking to see. I'm just looking to see, right. So Solaria says in terms of her money spells, she does more along the line of road openers, overtime hours, new certifications that will lead to earning more. Exactly. That's exactly right. Thank you, Nathan. He's reminded me, Arwen, you mentioned the silence of workings and keeping them secret. This is huge for me. When I do a spell, let's say I've got my beautiful snowflake obsidian. I couldn't find my snowflake obsidian pyramid. I have no idea where it went. I may have given it away. I do that sometimes. But in the witch's pyramid, there's 3 sides: to know, to will, to dare. Right? There's also the bottom. The bottom of the witch's pyramid, can I make that smacky noise even louder? Is really, really significant. It's the bottom for a reason. It's the base. It supports. And it is to keep silent. If I do a money working on a new moon, I'm just Instagram and go, did a moneygram, did a money spell today, hoping for 1,015. Why would I not want to say what I'm doing? Anybody have an idea? Looking out here. Molly says, getting out of our own way is half the battle. She says, I feel like as I get older, I do more and more road opening and less attraction-based magics. Yeah, exactly. Getting out of our way is half the battle. G.I. Joe doesn't know the half of it. But the reason to keep silent, and I forgot about the lag in chat, so y'all may have answered me and I'm not seeing it yet. The reason to keep silent is when you do magical work, imagine there's a cord from you to your magic. And when you release that, it's going to do its work. Imagine your spell is a German Shepherd search and rescue dog. Okay? You've told the dog exactly what you need. I need to sniff this piece of fabric and go find that child lost in the woods. That's what I need you to do. With a leash like this and keep telling you, you need to go find the child in the woods. Go find the child in the woods. Why aren't you finding the child in the woods? This dog is broken. It doesn't know what it's doing. Go find the child in the woods. Leash. Work of the spell. Don't talk about it. Don't revisit it unless you're doing a spell that needs feeding, that requires your energy on a certain, daily basis, weekly basis, whatever. Let it go, Elsa. Let it go. Let it go. That's why Molly's a singer and I'm not. Say disagree with that. It is awesome. You are absolutely welcome to disagree with it. As I said, it is my opinion. But in my experience, treating spells like recipes is the only way to do spell work when you're beginning. Hey, Sam. Oh, it is chaotic. Somebody said my room's chaotic mess. That's one of the reasons I couldn't find the pyramid. But my whole point about spell work is know your tools, know what you're wanting, understand the background of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and understand your own blocks. We all have them. It's a natural thing. It's the way we were raised. It's, our parents pass their stuff down to us. We pass it down to our kids. Our life, guys. Those of us who are working against it, it's an uphill battle and good for us. But what my point is, let your spell work do its work and get out of its way. Get out of your own way. I love the term road openers. That's just a brilliant way of saying it. And it is a road opening magic as opposed to an attraction magic. And attraction magics, you got to do a lot of work with those. And I've done attraction magics. I've got a great one for attracting money that uses lodestones. Works like a But review with yourself how you can get out of your own way. And one of those things to do is to look at I need, I want. And like I said, I want is not bad. I need actually may be worse, because sometimes when we get into the need thing, we get a little desperate. So, look into that. I don't think your spells have to rhyme. I think it's cool if they do. I think that your intention is a big portion of the spell, but the tools you use are super important. Copy spell work for me to use ingredients that aren't good substitutes. And there are lots of things you can substitute stuff for, but you just need to know your stuff before you just go out there and grab willy-nilly. Let's see. Do you think high expectations, low expectations, the ego and confidence may be part of why spells fail? Yeah, and I think expectation, just neither high nor low, but just expectation. There is an excellent country song, and I've talked about it. If you've seen my interviews, you've seen me talk about this. It's Garth Brooks, I Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. I think it's Unanswered Prayers is the name of it. And basically, it's about a guy who goes back to his high school reunion with his wife and sees his high school girlfriend that he prayed to God he could marry and have kids with and all of these. Right? I mean, he prayed. He got down on his knees and prayed every night. He was serious about it. And God never gave him what he wanted. Sometimes our expectations aren't big enough, and we limit what we think the universe can give us. If the universe is infinite, if I see it is all-powerful, omnipotent, infinite, why do we limit them? Why do we say I'd like a hamburger when we might get steak? Why do we say, I want cold tofu when we might get fried tofu with peanut sauce? Why do we limit that? And that's one of those places where expectations and being too specific can kind of get in your own way. And lack of confidence. Okay, lack of confidence comes to me. It comes when I'm not feeling what I'm doing, right? I don't feel secure in my foundations. That's one of the reasons I want you to really think about your spells. I want you to nail down why you want it, and work backwards is a great idea. I want to go to China and see the Great Wall. The minute I say that, I think, I don't know what I do there. I don't speak Chinese. I immediately hear my voice editing my desire. Kind of ticks me off. So instead, I would say, I want to go to China to see the Great Wall. I'm going to look up how much plane tickets cost. Okay. What do I have to save to get that plane ticket? How much would it cost for me to stay there? How much a month would I need to save? And I'm going to back it up until it's bite-sized chunks that I can do and start working towards. That's magic in and of itself. I don't have to find a candle and, carve Beijing into it. I don't need to. I could. It would be a lovely support for my dream working and my vision working. But that's what I'm talking about when I talk about you should do spells. I'm watching to see somebody else asking. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up here. If you've got questions after you've watched this video, feel free to leave them in the bottom. Be respectful, be polite. If you don't agree, that's awesome. I don't need you to agree with me. me to agree with you. That's why we get to be our own human beings. But I would love to have some discourse on it and some debate that doesn't start out with, you suck, it's all wrong. Um, Sorry. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate you showing up for this. I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm going to do more of these kind of videos. I love my interviews, love them. But I also like to just go on here and kind of vlog at you. The next thing I think I'm going to be doing is some readings using a new deck I got. It's a game that does astrology, numerology, and tarot. It's got dice in it. Really haven't looked into it much yet, but I'd like to do that with y'all helping me explore. So, and do remember that I do have a book for sale. If you are a writer and you're doing Camp NaNoWriMo this next month, go to bit.ly/Arwen Hero, capital A, capital H, and get a secret weapon. Seek joy, y'all. Pass it on.